Hey there, ladies. Scrap Basket Quilts. It's me. How you doing today? I wanted to talk to you about something that I mentioned yesterday. I absolutely had no idea that I would be doing this today, but here I am. So yesterday I posted a video on how to ease in unruly fabric by using a lot of pens, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you absolutely cannot do that and you still have issues, then what you need to do is rip out the offending piece, cut another piece according to pattern spec, and then place it back in your block and then just move on from there. Well, guess what? Today, yours truly is going to have to do that very thing. What you're looking at is a block that I completed yesterday. Last evening. Everything is in place. It went together fairly well. I'm not really happy about this little area, but you know what? I can live with that because everything else went together okay. So this is right here in this particular instance. This is the center of the block all the way down this way. And you notice how the black is all on one side and then the white is all on the other side. Well, here, what I've got is a middle part of another block that I'm getting ready to put together, and I just happened to notice after everything else was together except for putting on the two sides that I really messed up. So I got black, white, white, black. That's not the way it's supposed to be. So how am I going to fix that? I'm not going to rip out this whole block. I refuse to do that. There is an easier way to do it. It just takes a little bit of patience. So here we go. I've actually already ripped this out when I thought about it and decided to tell you guys I've done this twice. I got two others that are this one and another that I'm working on. And I just thought, you know, I needed to show some people that if they thought I was crazy when I said you can rip out the piece without ripping out the whole block, well, here you go. So what I did was I went and very carefully ripped the other side of this one. I have already ripped it actually, but before I thought about this video, I want to place it back on here anyway and show you exactly what I was doing. So I ripped out the seam here and then this one here because this piece has to come off. And when I rip, I don't pull every stinking loop. Don't do that. It's a waste of time, and it just gives you a whole bunch more pieces that you have to pull off with a pair of tweezers. Do every third or fourth one is fine. I actually go for the fourth one. I think it's no big deal, but it actually goes a lot quicker and it works fairly well. But once you get the piece off, which is what I've done, the piece is off. After you rip this particular piece, in this instance, this piece, what you need to do is go past the piece that come out. And the reason for that is what you need is room to work, because you can't just go right back in there, so up to the little V here and then go merrily on your way. I guess you could if you like Y seams, but it's not really necessary in this instance, so just go past it just a little bit. I've, like I said, got another one that I already started, and I wanted to show you how it was actually going. So it was like the other one, upside down. I had both pieces, you know, white, black, and then I had white, black. It was messed up. So I ripped it, did the same thing, ripped past that. And now, when you go to put your piece back in, you need to sew it back in the same order that you did when you first put your block together. And that was the way that it was done here. So I had these two pieces right here, my little half square triangles, and then my other half square triangle that I had to sew to the side of it. Those are already on there. So my next, I'm sorry, what I meant was I sewed this to this, which is what I was just redoing, and then now I would sew in this half square triangle. So I would line this up just like this, maybe a little better. What you do is you press this down because it's already been pressed, so you got to press it flat. So your seams, it's easier to work with actually. But when you go back to the machine to put this together, what you need to do is start farther back sewing on your line and then continue the 1/4 inch seam allowance. And the reason is not starting, you know, where you broke your threads. What you need to do is reinforce where you ended up breaking your threads and then continue on. And then once you go back to the machine and sew that in, you should have a complete piece. So hold on a second. I'm going to take this to the machine. I'm going to show you exactly how easy that was. Here I am back, and I have just completed this piece, sewing this piece back in. And actually I started from this end and then sewed into, because that way you don't have all this up underneath your whatever, your presser foot, and you're trying to sew back out from the other side. Just sew into it and make sure that you sew past where you took it off or where you broke the threads. So I'm gonna have to go back over this and look at it to make sure all my little pieces are out. Now I'm gonna press this. And there it is, back in the block. And where are my scissors? So the only thing I have left to do here is cut off my little dog ear, which is what you do when you're sewing all these back together. So here we go. So this is what it's supposed to look like. This is what I did. I pulled it out, made sure that I went past where I needed to by a good piece, so it gave me room to work. And then instead of it looking like this, which is the way it looked originally, I'm going to take this piece, flip the threads off there, and then I'm going to put it back in like this where it belongs. And then I can take my piece like this and add it on to the top where it's supposed to be. And that's actually how I discovered that I made the boo-boo, because it wasn't looking like it was supposed to be. So I can move on from there once I get this one piece in. So ladies, there you have it. Hope you guys have a great day. Now let's go quilt.